When you first launch Shimmer, you'll be presented with a short onboarding workflow. Simply click Get Started to move along. At this point, you can choose which folders you would like Shimmer to organize. To do that, click on Choose Folders. If you just want to organize one folder, you can select it from the list of folders and click on Select. However, if you want Shimmer to organize multiple folders at this point, you can hold down the Command key and click on another folder to add it as well. For example, I have Desktop highlighted, but I also want Shimmer to organize my Downloads folder, so I'll hold the Command key down and click on Downloads as well. Then after I have my two folders selected, I will click Select. Next, you want to allow Shimmer to run at login, so every time you reboot your computer, it will keep your files organized. I'll leave Launch at Login toggled on and click Continue. You'll notice that Shimmer is added as a login item. Now Shimmer is ready to use. You can click on Open Shimmer to launch it. On this particular system, I don't have any files on my desktop, nor do I have any files in my Downloads folder for Shimmer to organize. However, I do have several files in my Documents folder. You can easily add folders from Shimmer by clicking on Add Folder. I'll click on the Documents folder and you can see there are several files in that folder. You can see some spreadsheets, a zip file, a movie file, some images, and so on. Once I have the folder I want to organize selected, I'll click the Select button. Shimmer immediately goes through all of those files and organizes them. For example, near the bottom of the screen, you can see that the screenshot file was organized into the Documents, Sorted Library, Images folder. Let's take a look at the Documents folder in Finder now. You'll see three folders: the Manual Library folder, the Recents folder, and the Sorted Library folder. All the files that were originally in the Documents folder have been organized into the Sorted Library folder or the Recents folder. Shimmer watches the main folder itself. You can think of this as the root of the Smart folder. Any file you place directly in that main folder will be automatically organized. Think of the folder you added to Shimmer as Shimmer's workspace. If a file lands there, Shimmer assumes you want it sorted and will move it into the appropriate subfolder. The same applies to folders. If you drag a folder full of files into the main folder, Shimmer will sort each file inside and then remove the now empty folder. But what if you have files you want to keep exactly where they are? Well, that's what the Manual Library is for. Files and folders inside the Manual Library are completely ignored by Shimmer. They'll never be moved or organized. Sometimes you may want to work directly in the main folder without Shimmer reorganizing things as you go. That's where the pause feature comes in. You can pause organization for any Smart folder, work freely without files being moved, and then resume organization when you're done. While a folder is paused, Shimmer won't touch anything. As soon as you resume, Shimmer picks right back up and organizes whatever was added while it was paused. Now let's look where Shimmer places your organized files. In the Recents folder, you'll find files that are less than 5 days old. By the way, you can change that in Shimmer's settings. You can set it to 1 day, 7 days, or whatever you consider to be recent files. Using the Sorted Library folder, Shimmer has automatically sorted the files that were in my Documents directory into subfolders of Audio, Compressed Archives, Documents, Images, Spreadsheets, and Videos. However, if you have more file types or different types of files, you'll probably see more or different folders here. So if I click on the Audio folder, you can see that I have a WAV file, an MP3 file, and an M4A file. Those are all audio files that Shimmer has automatically sorted into the Audio folder. One thing to note here, if we go back to Shimmer, you'll see a Revert and Remove button that appears right after the initial organization. This puts all files and folders back exactly where they were. The Revert option remains available until you add new files to the Smart folder. Once you do, Shimmer interprets this as acceptance of the new structure and removes the Revert option. This means you can explore how Shimmer works completely risk-free. I'll click Revert and Remove now. I'll confirm it. And when I go back to Finder, you'll see our Documents directory is in exactly the same state as it was in before we added it to Shimmer. I'm actually going to add the Documents folder back because I want Shimmer to organize those files. When Shimmer is running in the background, it automatically organizes all your files. For example, if I were to place the hello.txt file into the Documents folder, Shimmer will organize it. Because I created the hello.txt file just before I started this video, Shimmer has organized it into the recent directory. Of course, if I had created that hello.txt file a month ago, it would have gone into my sorted library into the Documents subfolder. When we return to Shimmer, we can see that it sorted hello.txt from the Documents folder into the Recents folder. You'll also notice that the Revert and Remove button is no longer available. Shimmer also tracks duplicate files. In our Documents folder, Shimmer has detected that there are 2 duplicate files. If you click on the arrow beside one of the file names, you'll see the exact duplicate files that it found. Shimmer makes its best guess as to which it thinks is the original file. In this case, it thinks budget-template is the original file, with budget-template-copy being the copy or duplicate file. We can handle this in one of 2 ways. You can simply click Keep Only to keep the original file, or if you wanted, you could click Keep Only by the other file and make that the only copy of that file, thus removing all the other duplicates. You can also select the checkbox by a file that you want to delete and then click Delete Selected. In this example, I'm going to click Keep Only by the original file. Then I'll confirm that's the only one I want to keep. You'll also find several settings you can customize in Shimmer. Here's where you can add your license key, how you can turn on updates, how you can make sure that Shimmer launches at login, and more. If you want to, you can use custom folder names. So you could select this and then change it from Manual Library to My Library or Custom Library, Workspace, or My Workspace. And for the sorted library name, you could use Sorted Library, or Sorted, or Organized Archive, or Collection. I'm going to turn this off and just use the defaults of Manual Library and Sorted Library. Below that, you can set the number of days that you want to consider files to be recent. Remember that after that number of days has passed, Shimmer will move the files out of the Recents folder and sort it into the proper Sorted Library folder. After you close Shimmer, it keeps running in the background and you can access it via the menu bar. You can click on the Shimmer icon and open the Shimmer application, add a smart folder or go directly to Settings, and you can even pause or resume sorting for given smart folders from this menu. Finally, of course, you can quit Shimmer from there as well. And that's how Shimmer keeps your folders clean, organized, and up to date automatically.